So I didn't have immediate plans to do a video on episode 14 of Sagrada Reset, not because I disliked it. I've actually really enjoyed episode 13 and 14, but there just hasn't been a whole lot that I really wanted to dive into. I more or less wanted to wait for this arc to end, but then I realized if I missed this week, it would be 2 weeks and people are just going to assume I dropped it. So I gotta do some sort of quick video, so I doubt this is going to be too long or very kind of analytical or kind of what I'm used to doing for this series, but I did want to give my just overall impressions and just thoughts on what I've been thinking of this arc of Sagrada Reset, because it's been really interesting, and I could easily say it's been my favorite arc the series has done so far. The only thing I really want to make note of from last week is the whole notebook and this, like, basically this old man in this dream world who essentially can write down everything that's going to happen. And what's really fascinating with that, when you add it with Kei's ability to remember everything, that's the most dangerous combination, because he could literally know everything and never forget it, making him probably the most dangerous person in the world. And I just really like how they played with that idea, especially with episode 14 this week here, where essentially he reads in one of the notebooks that Samir wanted him to read there, but also he gets the agreement with the god of this world to essentially let him participate and test out the theory of, if he brings her from this town outside and makes her forget about her ability, will she still be alive? But I just really liked how this entire world is so fascinating with how the fact that it mirrors the real world, but it's so different at the same time, but also is supposed to be this paradise where everything you want's going to happen, but at the end of the day, it's all a lie, and even the girl who creates this world knows it's a lie. That's why we see this giant beast with multiple eyes and all these arms, because she wants to wake up. And it's so interesting how they're playing around the concept of this dream world, because at the core, you would think, oh, it's this paradise world where everything you want is going to happen. It's always going to be perfect, but even the girl herself who made this world, you know, subconsciously doesn't want to be here. And it's really interesting how this god, the one thing that he's designed for is to make her wish come true, and he can't even do that. So at the core, that's why he agrees with Kei to say, well, maybe at least I can make your wish come true. It's really interesting how they were playing with this episode, the idea of erasing the buildings and things like that, literally crushing the girl's basically dreams. And I think what this arc is doing, which is really impressive, is kind of taking us into the forefront, like making us feel like we are Kei himself. Everything's unfolding in such a more straightforward way with this arc, comparing it to some of the others where it was more you really had to think about everything. But that's not a bad thing, because this arc is much more straightforward. It's more clear of what's happening and what we're leading up to. And it's kind of interesting when you compare it to, like, the first core. Everything didn't truly make sense until we got the reveal of what we were building up to, which was reviving his dead friend. Which this arc, it's much more straightforward, and I quite like it for that, because it's not staying in one type of direction. It's not with one type of storytelling. There's so many ways that they're telling this story, and it makes it really engaging to me. And I've been having a blast with this series. I mean, I'm not sure how, I really haven't been looking into Reddit or different forum posts to see how other people are feeling, but I would assume most people are probably appreciating it, that it's a bit more straightforward, because I do know that with the first core, there was a lot of criticism that a lot of it didn't make sense for a while, which I personally like that because it made you think, but I'm sure at least this arc is going to be a fan favorite for the people who stuck around watching this. I know a lot of people dropped off, which is a shame, but Sagrada Reset has been doing a really interesting thing. I mean, it definitely is the most unique anime that I'm watching, even within this season so far. I mean, there's still a bunch that I'm waiting to air, but I definitely can say this has been one of the most enjoyable series that I've been watching over the past few months here. Even from last season, it was one of my favorites. I really enjoy what the series is doing. It's one of those series that it's possible I may not have stuff to say every single week besides it's just interesting. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents into the ring here and just say, like, even though I haven't really been discussing the past couple episodes, I've been absolutely loving this arc, and I am just so excited to see what's going to happen with next week, because this is part 4 of this arc. This arc's going to end after next week, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out, her forgetting her memories, or basically her ability, if that's going to cancel out her revival. That's going to be fascinating, especially I really like the whole concept of that white wall, like the myths there that they couldn't get through, and it's actually just the extended part of the town that she was hiding from. There's so many things that they're doing with this sort of dream world that was so fascinating, and to see how this is all going to wrap up next week, that's going to be insane. I don't think this is going to be a very straightforward ending for this arc. I think they're going to go a little insane, but only time will tell. Let me know your thoughts on the past couple episodes of Sagrada Reset. Have you been enjoying the arc? Have you thought it was a little iffy here or there? Just let me know your thoughts on this arc so far down in the comment section below. Before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.